set. Go ahead, horns are up, please. Remember, don't point your bell toward me. Bell's 10 degrees above parallel, pointed across the field. All right? Here we go. Concert F. Set. And 1, 2, ready, 3. Stop. Trumpets, check your tuning slides. Make sure something didn't move when you were walking over here. What it was. All right, here we go. Play that again, please. Remember, French horns, you're playing in G. Here we go. Set. And 1, 2, ready, and. Trumpets, play your G for me. This one too, you're not listening to what you write. So listen, don't change anything here. Ready, and trumpets. 1, 2, ready, go. That's better. Good. Everybody concert up. So, don't change anything just because we're out here. Ready? And 1, 2, ready, and push. Stop. Woodwinds play. Ready? And 1, 2, woodwinds, go. Just once, go. Stop. 2 baritone trumpet. Ready? 1, 2, ready, breathe. Yeah, there's a baritone that's pitching so sharp. So sharp. Do it again, please. Ready? Open the teeth. Oh, ready? And 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Somebody pick something. Ready? Ian, do you feel like you're pulled out a mile? Yeah. You know, Yamaha instruments play sharp. So I told you that. Then we're outside now and it's hot out. Which is even going to make them sharp. Okay, here we go. Low brass again. Ready? And 1, 2, low brass, go. Push. Good. Add the trumpet and horn with that now. Ready? Trumpet and horn with that. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, stop. French horns, play your G. Ready? 1, 2, French horns, go. Yeah, look at me, French horns. Make sure the corners of your mouth are firm so you're not playing flat, okay? Really firm. Ready? French horns again. And 1, 2, ready, air. Push horn. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Everybody, full down. Full band. Concert down. That's up. And 1, 2, ready. And. No, stop. There's a low brass person didn't play the right. Do it again. Ready. And 1, 2, ready. Breathe. Good. Trombone, baritone, tuba, trumpet. Ready? And 1, 2, ready, go. Good. All right, stop. Mr. Zamar, do you have your phone on you? Can you check every one of those trumpets, please? All right. Brass, have a seat. Trumpets, stay up, please. Until Mr. Zamar checks you.
I went up there.
2, ready, play. That's closer. That's closer. Good. Let's add the Woodwitz in with us now. Full band. That's right. Now, I want you to know what you're doing now. What's going on across the field. That's okay. Use your ears. Listen to what you're doing. Ready? And 1, 2, ready, go. Push. Good. Excellent. That's much better. Now, I want everybody to increase their airspeed 10%. What's up? Increase your airspeed 10%. Don't let the sound distort. Ready? 1, 2, ready, breathe. Good. Excellent. Jacob, I can use a little bit more of your sound from now. Okay? Can you push a little bit more? Jacob? Yeah, thanks. All right, do it again, please. That's it. And 1, 2, ready, go. Yes. Yes. Yeah, see, that's a lot better. A lot better, Ben. Very good. Okay, so, school song, so have it out ready to go. School song. School song. Every time we play, brass, you would stand, would run through your ranks. Hey, Ben, can all of y'all see me down here? So if I conduct from down here on the track, you're okay? You can see me just fine? Okay, good. All right, thanks.
Good evening, football fans. On behalf of the Malakoff Independent Associate Board of Trustees, administration, faculty and staff, and student body, it is with pride that I welcome you to the campus of Malakoff High School and Tigers Stadium for tonight. The Tigers play host to the Parish Episcopal Panthers in the first ever meeting between these two teams. The Tigers showed tonight's contest 0-2, while the Panthers are 1-1. In games played last week, the Tigers lost to Van 33-24, while the Panthers suffered a 44-42 loss to the LBJ Austin. Looking ahead to next week, the Tigers will be at home again next week, taking on Sunnyvale in the first ever meeting of Sunnyvale, while the Panthers will be taking on Liberty Christian. At this time, football fans, would you please rise for our pregame ceremonies, beginning with our prayer. Our prayer tonight will be delivered by Gracie Little, a junior at Malakoff High School.
Hey, man. We'll count. After we do the national anthem and everything, I'll have
Please bow your head and close your eyes. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing everyone to be here today. I pray that you keep every athlete, sponsor, coach, and ref safe during this event. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to have such a great community that can come here together, especially in times like this. Thank you for all the brave soldiers and frontline workers sacrificing their life for us on a daily. I pray we go throughout this event without injury and all remember we are playing for Him. Thank you for your sufficient grace and love. In Jesus' name, amen. At this time, we would like to take a moment to honor the memory of those who lost their lives on September 11, 20 years ago. We want to show our respect for all the first responders who served during that time and since. We are thankful for all those who have served in all the armed services and who have been protecting the freedom as we enjoy it as Americans. Please take a moment of silence.
Thank you. And now please remain standing for the playing of the Parish Episcopal School song.
School song, be ready. Okay?
And now the playing of the Malakoff High School song. You may receive will have the playing of the national anthem as soon as no team can turn to the playing field.
Fight song ready, then have the national anthem right after. Okay? Fight song first, then national anthem.
Our officials come to tonight from the Untitled Chapter of Texas Association of Sports Officials. The referee is Gary Demery. The umpire is Gene Robertson. The head linesman is Nolan Spencer. The line judge is Marcus Kincaid, and the back judge is Mike Browning.
Jonathan, there you go, buddy.
I'd bet. You know I'd bet. I didn't wide open.
I haven't seen.
Somebody been up there.
But he has to eat a lot of
Yes, sir.
job, Kate. I'll see you on the floor. All right, we'll be out there.
"75 miles southeast of downtown Dallas, we welcome you to Tiger Stadium in Malakoff, Texas, where the 1-1 Parish Panthers take on the 0-2 Malakoff Tigers here on Game On Sports. Alongside Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans in a battle of two teams that knows how to have some playoff success inside the Lone Star State. The reigning TAPS Division I state champion Parish Panthers and the regional finalist from a year ago in Malakoff, who was a state finalist in 2019. Before we get things underway, let's go ahead and toss it to a look back at last week's tight classic between the Panthers and Austin LBJ.
It's about to get real. get real. It's about to get real. You ready? This is it now, can't quit now. Feel the pressure is on the rise. I'm burning inside, energy is high, and I feel so alive. Had to face up, so I prayed up, put my head down, and I came up. So what you afraid of? This is what legends are made of. Center stage of a new wave of hustlers, ballers, and renegades. Every day stay dedicated on a mission until we can say we made it. There's nothing that life will just hand you. Always did what they told me I can't do, and it's still all a gamble. Go and handle your handle. You ready? Keep your eyes peeled. You hear it coming? It's about to get real. Watch. It's about to get real. You know the deal. It's about to get real. This is high stakes, no off days. You cooked if you caught in the blaze. You either eating or you get ate. It's all part of the game we play. When I stand up, never jammed up. Can't go under, do you overstand us? Don't take it for granted. It's bigger than life on this planet. Enough said, cause I know the ledge, and I'm pushing it right to the edge. Only break bread with my real heads for the blood and the tears we shed. Impatient, we done waiting. So at the end of the day, either you all the way in, where you at, or you all in the way. It's about to get real. Watch. It's about to get real. You know the deal. It's about to get real. Sound the alarm. If you're scared, remain calm. We made it through the storm. When it's on, it's on. Come on. Sound the alarm. If you're scared, remain calm. We made it through the storm. When it's on, it's on. Come on. You hear it coming. It's about to get real. Watch. It's about to get real. It's about to get real. It's about to get real. You know the deal. It's about to get real.
44-42 was the final score last week against Austin LBJ as the Panthers fall to 1-1 after their opening week victory over Bel Air Episcopal down in Houston. There were a lot of learning moments throughout that game, Heckma, last week against a very good 4A Jaguars team. What was the biggest one that stuck out to you?
That Sawyer Anderson is a young quarterback, and he's capable of making mistakes, and we saw that. And Coach Novakoff, and I think that was some of his anxiety when we were talking to him about his young team. He knew that Anderson would go through those growing pains. In a game where he pretty much had it won at a certain point, those turnovers in the second half is really what undid his squad.
And we're going to talk about that coming up here in a little bit with Madison Lambert down on the sideline. We'll talk to her after the kickoff. But there's plenty to talk about, I think, about this defense as well. Just a front seven that really gets after the football, and Jalen Hall had a fantastic game a week ago.
Yeah, Jalen Hall, he's a big part of what they do up front. He's a guy that could take on those two gaps. He does a really good job with taking on two blockers. But also, man, Trey Williams, it frees him up to do so many things as well. But Daniel Demery, also last week had a really good game. But the Jaguars' the strength of what they did last week was just at their skill positions and speed, and they exploited a lot of that last week. But I look for these guys to get back in the winning column today, and it's going to be a big part of that is going to be what they do on defense.
The Panthers in the all-white top to bottom on the road for the second time in the 2021 campaign, taking off the Tigers. And the black tops with the gray bottoms, a yellow jacket look for the Tigers. Looks like the Missouri Tigers overall, doesn't it? With the block M right at the midfield logo. Lots of fun under the lights on Friday night, a 7:30 kickoff time. So we're out in East Texas, a.k.a. Beast Texas, as they like to call it, out in these parts, about an hour and a half east of Dallas. So Ryan Schiller getting set to boot this one away. Corey Phillips back to receive for the Tigers. Zach Studley is back there as well. It's week 3 of the Texas high school football season. And Schiller has us underway from Malakoff. This one carries all the way down to the 4-yard line. Up the near sideline to the 25. A spin move picks up a couple of yards, and that's where the Tigers will start. Let's go ahead and head down to the sideline where Madison Lambert joins us for the first time. Madison. And we will talk with Madison coming up here in just a couple of moments. It'll be a 3-man front in this 3-4 look traditional for the Parish Panthers against this offense for Malakoff that put up 24 points last week in a loss to Van. In week 1 against the Grandview Zebras, they put up 21 points, actually had a lead early in that ball game. Quick completion out to the left as Judd Driscoll gets things underway with a quick completion to Corey Phillips. And it's a gain of nothing on the play.
Yeah, number 10 was on that. Walker Anderson was in on the tackle, and he closed on that immediately. That's a good job by the cornerback.
2nd down and 10 from the 33-yard line. Early in the game last week, Parish defensively standing strong against Austin LBJ despite the team speed that the Jaguars showed on that side of the football. Now, the Jags got their fill late after really struggling to put points on the board in the first. There's the first carry of the ball game for Deuce Hart. And let's go down to the sideline for the first time with Madison Lambert. Madison.
Beautiful evening. The fans are excited. It's going to be a great night for some football. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you very much, Madison, as always, and we'll check back in with you periodically throughout the game. Just about a minute and a half here into this first quarter, and a big 3rd down already for the Malakoff Tigers. Judd Driscoll, the senior quarterback, 5'8", 145 pounds. Deuce Hart to his right, 5'9" at 170. They fake the handoff. The ball slipped out of Driscoll's hands, and luckily for the senior, he hops back on top of it, but a huge loss on 3rd down.
Yeah, he had Hall right coming down, straight down on him, and so when he wanted to make a decision about which way to go with the ball, the best thing to do was just to get on it and not cause a turnover. But that's a good job by the Panthers defense.
Looked like Driscoll was trying to fed it outside to Austin Massengill, and the senior never got a chance to get the ball out of his hand. It just kind of slipped and fell to the turf. Ruled a fumble, as they do get this punt off in a dangerous fashion. It takes the Tigers bounce past midfield, but not much further, as the Panthers will have fantastic field position with 9:38 left in the first quarter for their first drive of the ball game.
Yeah, it's good. That's, basically looking at the defense from last week, man, they had their work cut out for them. And, man, they're really disappointed to lose that game in the fashion that they did in the final minutes of that game. And so really good to see them come out and get a quick 3 and out.
Came down to the wire, and the Jaguars just had the ball last, ultimately, is what ended up happening. There wasn't enough time for the Parish Panthers to get back down the field and get within field goal range. Here's Sawyer Anderson, freshman quarterback for start number 3 of his young varsity tenure. And a handoff early, and how about plugging the hole? That's Zach Studley coming forward and putting a lick on Andrew Paul.
Yeah, when we talked with Coach Driscoll, that's what he talked about, was number 10, DK Rose, his middle linebacker, closing immediately and putting a lick on number 2, Andrew Paul.
Now, he's a hard hitter, the senior, straight in the middle of that defense. He plays a little bit of running back as well, but he came forward and plugged the hole quickly for just a gain of 1. 2nd down, read option, and again, Rose in the backfield, that was Damian Jackson, the junior coming off the edge, who Coach Driscoll also talked about as being a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, Coach Driscoll, one thing, man, a great conversation with him this week, man, a fun-loving guy, and he wanted to talk about his team and how they were going to respond to the challenge of coming up against a team of the caliber of the Panthers. And some of the things that he's seeing right now, he's got to be happy to see his guys responding.
3rd down and 10. Burton and Hill to the bottom of the formation. You have Youngblood and Billings to the top. Play action, near side. There's Hill, complete past the first down marker. Did not play the majority of the second half, actually any of the second half last week due to a wrist injury, and he has a big reception to keep the drive alive here in the first.
Really cost the Panthers, too, last week in his absence because his big playability on the outside was definitely missing versus the Jaguars last week.
8-10 and counting here in the first quarter, the first down we've seen from either side. 3-by-2 set, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left here for the Parish Panthers with a new quarterback in. At least in the shotgun, there was a penalty as Demery came in and was taking a snap as the Wildcat quarterback. Sawyer Anderson was snuck out wide.
Yeah, just a new wrinkle here for Coach Novakoff and getting his athletes on the field, and he's going with his quick package.
And unfortunately, when you try and flip the script a little bit, there could be some miscommunications, and that time it resulted in a false start. So back to their normal positions as Demery now goes to the top of the formation, and Sawyer Anderson back in at quarterback with Paul to his left. 3-man front for the Tigers defensively. Paul flips sides. Picks up the block on 1st and 15, trying to go long for Hill and ran out of real estate. Good coverage that time for the Tigers defensively.
Yeah, good coverage for the Tigers, but right now the battle up front is definitely being won by the Panthers. I'm looking at this Hayden Weber versus number 60, Quentin Fulton, and Fulton tried to run an outside stunt but didn't fool Weber at all. He was on his man the entire time.
There are a bunch of guys that'll rotate in and out for that Malakoff defense and try and keep things fresh. Though both teams really see a lot of guys play both sides of the football. 2nd and 15 after the long ball try. Anderson to Demery on the screen, has a seam, puts his foot in the ground, and explodes upfield past the first down marker. A gain of 17 on 2nd down.
Yeah, that's big playability by Demery, and you saw that right there in the wide receiver screen roll. Really great blocking by his fellow receivers to get him out in space.
Both Burton and Youngblood really locked on to their respective opponent and opened up a hole for Demery, one of the faster guys on the field tonight, to explode. Paul keeps the pile churning. Gain of about 5 on 1st down. Once again, you see that offensive line doing a really nice job stacking up, but that second level of the Tigers having a good start to this game.
They really are, but I'm telling you, Andrew Paul, that's what he is. I mean, it's a drop here, a drop there, and next thing you know, the dam is broken. And so you just got to watch for those kinds of runs, man, because he will break one out.
Coach talked about week 1, he was so close to breaking the big one and just could not get it done. Still had a fantastic day, as he did so last week as well. Here's Burton on the near side, puts a nice move at the 20-yard line, carries a defender inside the 17, and then is another first down as now the Panthers are officially in the red zone.
Yeah, they're finding a rhythm. It's so good to see Sawyer Anderson just taking those quick and easy throws so he can get in rhythm.
Hill all by himself at the bottom of the formation. 6'3", 205-pound senior. Let's see if they exploit that mismatch on the corner in Carter Fuller. Hand off to Paul. Tries to go off the left tackle, and a nice job defensively from the Tigers, stacking him up for relatively no gain.
Yeah, they do a good job out there on the outside. Number 24 for the Tigers, Davis, he's setting the edge out there and not allowing these guys, keeping contained. And so, again, just a great job by the Tigers, but I think that Sawyer Anderson is recognizing these mismatches that he has.
Here's the formation we saw earlier in the drive. Demery at quarterback, Sawyer Anderson's at the top of the formation. Wildcat snap and a direct draw for Demery. He looked like he might have lost the football. They're going to say he's down. And the Panthers catch a bit of a break as the knee does hit the turf.
Yeah, the Panthers are doing a really good job up front. Right then, there was Lance Roberson able to shoot the gap and get through there and get his hands on Andrew Paul. But again, this is obviously first quarter, but this is a big third down in red zone.
Now, got to take advantage of all of these opportunities, and it's 3rd and 6. You need to get just past the 6-yard line for a first down. 5 minutes to play in the first as Anderson looks to the far sideline to check. 2 receivers to both sides on 3rd down. Paul up the middle, reaching for the first down marker, and he's going to be just about a yard shy. And it's decision time for Coach Novikov and company. Will they elect to go for the field goal, or since it's 4th and 2, maybe try and go for it inside the 10-yard line? Offense stays out on the field.
He didn't even huddle up. He knew they were going for it.
Anderson in the shotgun. Paul to his left, showing blitz, and almost had an offside. Instead, he tosses it to the end zone. It's caught by Youngblood, a yard shy, but definitely past the yard to gain.
That was a great catch by Youngblood, just an out route to the side. And as soon as he catches it, if he just turns and flips that ball over, that's a touchdown. But again, good body control by Blake Youngblood and getting down to the 1-yard line. Better than anything, getting the first down.
Absolutely. Keeping the drive alive, and now Keegan Addison in the backfield as well, along with Paul. It's Paul on the carry who explodes upfield. Nice cut into the end zone, and the Panthers are on the board first in Malakoff.
Great drive by the Panthers, and a lot of that set up by Sawyer Anderson and those really quick throws to his receivers, those receiver screens, getting down the field. But that was a no-brainer by Coach Novikov going for it there on 4th down. He knew he had to punch his ticket and get it into the end zone.
Schiller to drill this one through, and he does just that to make it 7-0 on the road. The opening drive for the Panthers going 11 plays, 45 yards from their own 55 yards from their own 45-yard line. But I want to go back to that 4th down play call. How about the guts from Coach Novikov to not only say it's 4th and 2, let me not run the football, but let me roll my freshman quarterback out to the right and try and fit it in a tight window.
Yeah, Blake Youngblood, the Holy Cross commit, he's just as sure-handed as any receiver that they have out here. So if you're going to take a risk like that down in the red zone, there's only one guy that you go to, and that's your captain, Blake Youngblood.
7-0 with 4 minutes left here in the first quarter. Both teams like to run the football quite a bit, and Coach Novikov talked about that earlier this week. That's one of the things they want to continue doing well. Andrew Paul, over the first 2 games, over 120 rushing yards in each of them. He's had plenty of success running the football so far.
Yeah, I think Andrew Paul for him, man, you know that he's going to get his. Last week, the one disappointing thing that the senior did was fumble the ball twice. And so he's definitely in it this game to make amends for those errors that he made last week.
As this one's returned on the far sideline to the 29-yard line. Pair of good returns so far for the Tigers.
Yeah, Carter Fuller, he gets to the outside on the kick return. That's get good field position for the Tigers each time. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
So they'll start from their own 29. Went 3 and out the first drive, and a big reason for that was a fumble on 3rd down that backed them all the way up.
Yeah, it did. And fortunately for them, they were able to get on that ball and did not give up a touchdown there. But they've got to be happy about some of the things that they've seen initially. The defense responded, had some things just not go their way with that big 4th down by the Panthers. But let's see if quarterback Judd Driscoll responds.
Driscoll, of course, the son of Jamie Driscoll. 5'8", 145 pounds, and he's got a bit of an arm to him. He can throw it. He's got that added to his game for sure. Handoff to the big tailback. That's DK Rose, who was on defense, making impact. I told you earlier, he plays a little bit of tailback. He's got some speed to him.
Yeah, he's got some speed and some power as well. You see a running back with a neck roll like that, and it's going to be a little bit before your time, but there was a guy by the name of Tom Rathman that played for the 49ers.
Okay.
He's a bit of a fullback running back guy, but the last guy that I remember to be playing the running back position to have a neck roll that big. So.
I know somebody listening to this stream knows the reference in which you were making.
I understand.
I know
I was
that.
talking directly to you, and I just didn't want to go over your. Like you talk about video games and TikTok and all that stuff goes over my head.
That's
so
very
I just
fair.
Gave a sports reference to someone that played back in the 80s, and yeah.
Well, I know some of these players are going to look at this later, and they're going to look at TikTok, and they're going to talk about TikTok. I got to make a couple references.
Let's see how you do that. You're deferring right now.
Absolutely deferring, 100%. Called offsides on the defense, by the way, so the Panthers giving up 5 yards regardless, but this time it stays at first down. So the Tigers get the same carry on first down, but now they don't have to lose it down in doing so.
Yeah, defensively, I just wanted to see the Tigers respond. I mean, the Panthers respond here and get a stop.
Driscoll in the shotgun. Almost got him to jump again. It would have been the second straight offsides penalty. Just 2 receivers out wide, one to the near side, and they hand it off again to Hart. Just his second carry so far, and he picks up 2.
Yeah, Hart is, tell you what, man, he's another one. He's a good running back and definitely doing a good job of trying to get to the outside, and that Panther defense just not allowing it. But big second down here for the Tigers.
Yeah, he runs a 4.7 40-yard dash. He had a 39-yard touchdown run against Grandview to open the season. He's had a pretty good start to the year as well. He had another touchdown run in that game from 29 yards out, and then had a couple last week as well in the loss against Van. So 4 touchdowns total already for Deuce Hart. Bell tie snap. Driscoll can't get it to his receiver, and honestly, throwing that ball on the ground might have been the better of the 2 options.
Oh, yeah, that was his saving grace, because if that ball was a little bit high, Walker Anderson, that was going to be a pick 6 all the way to the house.
Yeah, especially if he stays on his feet, doesn't dive for that football.
Oh, yeah.
And with 2:21 left, this Tigers offense still has not had a first down, as we're seeing an end, or getting into the final minutes, rather, of this first quarter. It's credit to this front 7 and the defense for the Panthers already. 3rd down and 3, a shift on the defensive line. Now 4 down linemen for Parish. Driscoll, as the clock hits 0, and a timeout having to be burned on the near sideline as the Tigers saw that play clock continuing to tick down.
Yeah, I don't know what the delay.
Oh, they did not call a timeout.
They didn't. Oh.
So it ends up being a delay of game. I thought they got the timeout called in time.
Bad clock management there. I'm sure Coach Driscoll is kicking himself about that delay of game.
Clock continues to run with 2:15 left in the first. Stacked receivers to the left. Now 3rd down and 8. Play action. This one complete far side. It's into the hands of Phillips, but he only gets about a half yard. And again, 4th down on the way for the Tigers, and here comes the punting unit.
Yeah, great job by Keegan Addison getting out there on that screen. He sees it developing from his linebacker spot, and he just sheds his blocker and gets out there and makes the tackle. That's a great job by number 21.
Addison had such a fantastic game a week ago, was flying all over the field, and he keeps it going already here in the first quarter. Second punt of the day for Malakoff. This one not a very good one. Sideways kick. It takes a Tiger bounce at about the 50, and it'll crater in at the 47-yard line. So 2 yards closer in terms of the field position for the Panthers this time.
Yeah, the Panthers are getting closer and closer to blocking one of these punts.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got one by the end of the night. They have been close on both occasions already. And with a 7-0 lead, Sawyer Anderson and the Panthers take the field once more. Spreading it out with 4 wideouts, and Paul again, the lone tailback. 1st and 10. Play action. Anderson wants to let it go deep over the middle of the field and had a man just by a step in Billings, but just not enough on the money.
No, not enough. And I tell you what, Sawyer Anderson tried to lead his receiver, but just a titch too much on that throw.
And somebody's going to call a timeout. Panthers call a timeout with 2nd down on the way following the incompletion. So now Malakoff will take this opportunity to talk things over with Coach Jamie Driscoll and company. Mentioned the records at the beginning of the game. Malakoff coming in at 0-2, which is not familiar territory for this program and for this high school. Coach Driscoll talking about really this has been an odd start to the year for this Tigers ball club. I mean, they were a regional finalist a year ago at the 3A Division I level. They lost to Mount Vernon 37-34 in a classic at Globe Life Park. That Mount Vernon team led by former Baylor head coach Art Briles.
I tell you what, when we talked with Coach Driscoll, he talked about his inexperienced team and wanting to know how these guys matched up with the Panthers. Again, right now, up to this point, I think he's seen his defense respond. Obviously, that big 4th down took them out of it, but this was a game when we talked to him again, it was just all about a learning opportunity and seeing what his kids do in a game this big.
And they've had opportunities to compete already this season, most notably against Grandview in week 1. Paul on the handoff. Look at him just keep the legs churning all the way to the ground. That could have been a 4-yard gain. Instead, he picked up 5 more.
Yeah, and that's number 50. He's getting behind number 52, Sam Liu, the sophomore, 6'2", 295 pounds. Let's just say 6'2", 300. Let's go ahead and give him 5
why not?
pounds.
Round it up a little bit.
But he's doing a wonderful job over here on the left side.
For all those college recruiters out there watching this stream, it's 300.
Big kid.
Under 40 to play in the first quarter. Anderson with the check at the line of scrimmage. Everybody to the right of the formation on 3rd and short. Paul on the handoff, almost lost the football, did not get the line to gain. And how about the defensive stop from the Tigers in that front 7? They brought the heat up the middle and challenged Paul to run the football. They did just that and couldn't get anything from it.
But I tell you what, for Andrew Paul, he has got to solve the fumbling problem. He had 2 big turnovers last week.
And they're going for it on 4th down and 1.5 yards. Got him the jump off sides. Free play for the Panthers. It'll be a 1st down. Downfield trying to find Hill. He came up with an incompletion. It looked like for a second that Tolliver might have had the pick, but instead it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
That's a good job by Anderson.
Offside is called against the Tigers. 5 yards will be assessed and give the Panthers a 1st down.
So it's a 1st down for the Panthers, and it was the end of the first quarter as well. And because of that, it looks like we'll have 1 untimed down.
I don't think everybody recognizes that.
Coach Malakoff, Coach Jamie Driscoll talking about that. Now it is the end of the first quarter. I thought we would flip sides. I didn't know if there would be an untimed down. It looks like there still is some confusion here. Coach Novikov seems to think he's got 1 more play in the books. The officials still say they have 1 more play in the books.
Right. Typically, when there is a penalty at the end of the quarter, there is an untimed down.
Usually that's the case. And at least right now it is the case.
Yeah, it doesn't change just because Lorena's here, man.
Sun now set, and what is a really nice night for football.
It really is, man.
Not very humid. Not too hot. East Texas.
This is Texas high school football at its best. I have no idea where we are. Well, we're in Malakoff. But the drive here, my GPS got me all turned around.
Oh, goodness.
So all I know is a football field out in the middle of East Texas, and we're here.
Hey, that's what matters. Friday Night Lights. 1st and 10 on the untimed down. It's Paul on the carry, and Paul is stuffed. Again, D.K. Rose. He has been really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, look, D.K. Rose, and when we talked with Coach Driscoll, he talked about his studs, and D.K. Rose was one of them. The one thing that he said that he definitely has to be careful about is using him on offense and on defense, because he's going to need him specifically in his role on defense to get stops just like that.
So that's the end of the first quarter. 7-0 our score. The Parish Panthers on top of the Malakoff Tigers. So glad you've elected to join us here on Game On Sports, as we've got plenty more action to come here from East Texas. Heckma Harrison alongside Kyle Yeomans. We've got Madison Lambert down on the sideline. Jamie Driscoll, already somewhat of a coaching legend down here in the East Texas ranks, as he has brought this Malakoff program to new heights. Went to the state finals a couple years ago and has made some really deep playoff runs with some really talented 3A ball clubs. And he's being tested early against this Panthers ball club in their own right. 2nd and 10 to start the second. Anderson seemingly very confident calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. Good snap. And lets that one fly far side, trying to get it to Burton, and Burton could not hold on. It would have been at least a first down, but instead, it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Malakoff's doing a really interesting thing in their cover 3. They're bringing their safeties all the way to the outside to just cover up those mismatches, leaving the middle of the field wide open.
There's a penalty flag on the Panthers. Holding called, and it'll be -10, so 2nd and 20. And that is a big penalty. That could be a drive killer if you're not careful. However, the Panthers may be happy they get another down to go at this here from the 49-yard line. Only +4 at the moment on this drive, and only one man back for the Tigers. This one into the flats. It's Cedric Mays. Mays with a hole. He explodes forward. Big gain on 2nd down. Gets them back to the original line of scrimmage and erases the holding penalty.
Yeah, good job by Cedric Mays, the junior. 5'8", 170 pounds. I mean, you got a guy 5'8", and that's a generous 5'8", by the way. He is really small guy, gets behind his pads really well, but once he gets those big blockers out in front of him, really hard for the defense to locate number 29.
And he has done a great job being a receiver out of the backfield. That's now his 10th reception for 128 yards compared to just 41 yards on carries. Here's Anderson. Bootleg, has a man in Youngblood downfield. He fits it over the defense. Caught inside the 5, and he takes it in to the end zone. It's a 39-yard touchdown for now, but there is a flag, and holding called. Wipes that one off the board.
That is an unfortunate holding penalty on the Panthers. Nothing egregious at all, but it looks like these referees have a really quick trigger tonight because I tell you, Sawyer Anderson, he laid that one out for Blake Youngblood. Blake got behind the safeties, and that's what I was pointing out to you. They're cheating the safeties over, and so Youngblood found the space behind him. That's just a great job.
Yeah, it's a great throw, too, from a freshman quarterback. From the 39-yard line, I mean, he fit that, 33 yards downfield, put it on the money, and had to fit it over a corner and in front of a safety.
That's a dime. He
found that hole in the defense.
Yeah, he dropped that in, and that's a big boy throw right there for Sawyer Anderson.
Though it doesn't count, that's one to go back on and film and really take an extra look at for both teams. Because like you said, the Malakoff defense really showed their hand. They've still got that lone safety back in a couple corners in the nickel formation. And a handoff to Paul, delayed handoff. Looked like miscommunication behind the line of scrimmage. Leads to only a gain of 1.
Yeah, that was a big penalty that holding penalty versus the Panthers. Not only wipes off those points, but again, backs those guys up after Cedric Mays had already gotten them back to the line of scrimmage. And so right now, Anderson has to make a big play. But if he's reading this defense the way that we're looking at it from up here, he sees the mismatch that he has, and right now it's on the far side.
3rd down and 19. Anderson over the middle. It's caught by Billings. He spins, stays on his feet, and he's going to have the first down. This time there are no flags on the field, and it is indeed moving of the chains.
Yeah, Sawyer does a great job. He's finding that one-on-one and making sure that he's making this defense pay for it. Found it and got to the first down marker.
Billings had a clutch play last week, as the Tigers are going to call a timeout here prior to first down. Clutch play last week that got Parish back in the ball game after they were down a couple of scores to Austin LBJ. Really filled the role that Nathaniel Hill really had and left a void of after his injury in the first half. Now that he's a part of this offense, I think having both of those guys out there makes you a better offense than you were previously.
Yeah, definitely. And Billings is, as advertised, he's a Prosper transfer. But again, a ton of athletic ability. Last week, man, he called just an easy fade route, did a spin move, and broke it all the way to the end zone on what looked like a game winner for the Panthers. But unfortunately, the Jaguars had other plans.
It was a 59-yard touchdown reception, his only touchdown so far of 2021. Has a couple of receptions for 69 yards before that one.
He's a good player.
He really is. 6 foot, 185 pounds, and he is quick. 4 wideouts again for the Panthers. It's really been their default formation today, and evening it up on both sides. Handoff, and Paul picks up a good chunk on first down.
He's brought down number 10, DK Rose. Again, 6 on the play, 7 down 4.
Second down and 4. Three-step drop. Anderson has a man. It's Youngblood again. Dives into the end zone. He has the grab. Touchdown Panthers. It's 13-0 on the road.
So nice, you got to do it twice. And you can see Youngblood, hey, man, he's not bothered at all. Obviously, he had points taken off of the board, but he looks back at his freshman quarterback and says, look, man, I'm going to be wide open on this skinny post. Make sure you hit me.
And he did so in stride. Maybe a little out in front, and Youngblood, I'm sure, will have a say on the sideline. But 6 points is 6 points, and that's turned into 7 with the PAT from Schilling. 14-0 our score. 9:54 left in the first half of action, and 2 methodical drives from the Panthers. It hasn't been the quick strike just yet, and there have been some penalties. It hasn't been clean, but your defense has gotten a couple stops, and you have taken advantage on both drives you've had so far.
And you know that Coach Novakoff isn't going to be 100% pleased with that drive, but he has to see some positive things in what his freshman quarterback did, and a lot of that was Andrew Paul and his tough running as well. I mean, 2 yards here, 3 yards here, and then he just rattled off that big 6-yard run to get them into the red zone, but just can't say enough about the job that Sawyer Anderson did.
9:54 left. Second quarter of action. 3 men back again to receive here for Malakoff. Corey Phillips is back there. So is Fuller. Under the lights and a beautiful night in East Texas. Here's Schiller with a good hefty boot. It's a line drive kick to the far sideline. It's picked up on the fingertips. And now an extra burst down the right sideline. Trying to change field. Stays on his feet. Past the 45-yard line all the way down to the 47. There have been a couple of big returns for this Malakoff special teams unit. And as the Parish Panthers defense heads back out on the field, let's go down to Madison Lambert.
Thanks, Kyle. Earlier on the sideline, defensive coach Will Galusha pulled his defense aside and said they were still giving the Malakoff offense too much room and too many opportunities to make plays. And he said the key to winning another state championship is to realizing that nobody can play with you. Kyle?
Thank you very much, Madison. Great point as always, and you hear a little bit of an insight in terms of the defensive huddle And 2 stops so far from this Parish defense. You got to be happy with what you've seen so far.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're doing a really good job. They're crowding the line of scrimmage and doing a good job on the second level.
There's a handoff straight up the gut again. A big-time run from Deuce Hart. Man, he is explosive when he finally gets things going. He could be a catalyst for this Tigers offense that really has had 0 success so far.
Yeah, 0 success, but again, you worry about the game of attrition. Most of these guys go both ways. So,
true.
At some point, even though it's not as hot of a Texas night as it typically is, at some point, the heat and humidity starts to get to those guys that are going both ways.
Hart, one of the guys that does not go both ways, or he does go both ways, but for the most part, it's in sparing time. Really, they utilize the majority of his snaps on the offensive side. Reaching for the first down marker, and he is stacked up right at the line of gain. They'll say he's a half a yard shy. There was a cast of characters, Mayland, Addison in there, and then a defensive lineman as well.
Yeah, the linebackers are definitely responding. You see the way that they crowd the line of scrimmage, but again, a lot of that, and the guys that go without any thanks on that is going to be Jalen Hall, because he's holding up 2 linemen, allowing his linebackers to scrape and make that play.
6 foot, 225-pound junior Jalen Hall had 3 tackles for loss in week 1, and guess what? 3 tackles for loss again in week 2. 3rd down and 1, and we're going to have a false start. This will back up the Tigers even more, and once again, 3rd down, backing things up. They're shooting themselves in the foot with some early penalties.
Yeah, those are just undisciplined things that you see teams do, young teams do, and that's just, man, Coach Driscoll is definitely stomping his foot down there on the sideline, because that was a 3rd and short that they needed to convert.
He ripped Corey Phillips off the field, and he's really been the one receiver with any kind of success in the ball game. This is a learning opportunity for a lot of these young Malakoff Tigers, a team that is still trying to find their footing after the 0-2 start. Say the same thing on the other side for the Panthers, who have looked very crisp early on. 3rd down and 6. Hand off to DK Rose, bounces to the outside the numbers. He'll have a first down before he's upended by Daniel Demery. And a little bit of attitude after the tackle, but it does move the chains.
Yes, it does. And one of the things about that run, I mean, it's just a tone setter for this offense, and they needed it. They finally got themselves a first down, but DK Rose, that's tough sledding for the middle linebacker. Well, running back.
You could say it both ways.
Middle linebacker.
Either
that
way.
Guy.
Had a really nice block on the edge to the left, and the Parish defense didn't have any opportunity to get out. First time into enemy territory for the Tigers, and before the snap, a timeout called by Coach Driscoll. 7:56 left in the second quarter here on Game On Sports. It's week 3 of the Texas high school football season. We talked about Malakoff and their start to the season. Let's talk about Parish. 34-14 on the road against Bel Air Episcopal down in Houston. They made the trip down I-45, really showed out, and then they came back against the Austin LBJ Jaguars. That was a very, very talented team from down I-35. What did you learn the most about this Parish team last week that maybe you didn't know even coming out of that Bel Air game?
It's you know what, it really is hard to say, Kyle, because I felt genuinely like that was a game that the Panthers were supposed to win, and they lost it based off of those self-inflicted penalties and turnovers and things that they did in the second half. I thought the Jaguars couldn't even get the ball kicked off well in the first half, and they committed all kinds of penalties and turnovers. I just literally felt like the Panthers just let off the gas and let the Jaguars back in that game. So, look, I know they had a tough week of practice, if you know Coach Novakoff, but again, this is just a team that's young, but still they have a lot of studs at some quality positions.
And those turnovers were big, but the defense looking very good today. Haven't had a turnover just yet, but that's one thing they're going to try and replicate from last week, the turnovers they ended up forcing. Handoff to Deuce Hart, and he turns forward for about 3. Like I said, first trip inside enemy territory for the Tigers tonight, and an extra flag really late. There's been some talking and a little bit of chippiness And Trey Williams is going to go over and talk to one of his defensive ends. Not exactly
James
sure.
Cave, number 33. Hopefully this is offsetting.
As we await the call.
Against the Panthers. Dead ball on sportsmanlike conduct against the Tigers. Pennies are offset.
Hello there, Mr. Heckma Harrison. Do you have a crystal ball?
In my head. It's like it's just one of those situations where the referees just want to let these guys know that he's in control. Do it again, it's going to cost your team.
Yeah, that's one of those keep things under control,
Oh, yeah.
keep it limited before it does get a little bit boiled over. And I think a great job by the officiating crew to make that an offsetting penalty because there has been some jawing back and forth from both sides. Second down and what they'll mark as 7. And is the Hart. Hart past the original line of scrimmage into the second level and down inside the 15-yard line. The Panthers pretty adamant about some miscommunication there getting to the edge, and it's been Hart and, Rose that have been the two runners.
Yes, it has been, and they're finding some success over here behind Ryder Rogers. Rogers is on Trey Williams over here, and he is sealing Trey Williams inside, and that's how they're able to get that seal and break off that long run.
See what they have on first down from the 13. This one is to Rose, and Rose not going to go anywhere. That time he was not able to seal off Williams as he got in there quickly and with under 7 to play in the first half. Second down and 10 on the way.
Yeah, I want to see this Panthers defense bow up right here down in the red zone, and that's unfortunate because you see DK Rose coming out of there limping. They're definitely going to need him.
I love the combination of the tailback names, Rose and Hart. It's like it's Valentine's Day in September.
I was going to say every day is Valentine's with you, Kyle. But
That's right.
Didn't sound right.
Yeah, that's probably true. Here's a throw to the end zone. Driscoll looking for it all, and it is incomplete. That is the first shot to the end zone taken by the Tigers, and great coverage overall from the Panthers.
You think they've been watching a little film on the Panthers, huh? They want to go to that deep corner and get a jump ball with Carter Fuller, just not able to come down with it, but that's a good pass by Judd Driscoll, but better defense.
Saw Austin LBJ do that a couple times last week. You're right. Film study certainly there from the Tigers sideline. Biggest third down of the game to this point for Malakoff. Inside the 15, trying to knock on the door. Driscoll with a handoff to Hart. And he's able to get a pretty hefty chunk of about 7 yards, but he's still about 3 yards shy from the line to gain, and fourth down on the way. With the success, or the lack thereof, rather, from this Tigers offense so far, you would expect them to stay on the field.
Yeah, they have to. And you get down in the red zone versus this team, and you haven't had any rhythm, and you finally catch some. This is a big fourth down for them, and they definitely want to try and get some points here.
It's Poteet and Hart in the backfield, straddling both sides of Driscoll. Back in the shotgun, and an extra movement at the line of scrimmage is going to back this up again for the Tigers.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Number 25, Zach Studley, jumps offsides. Ball must have been coming to him.
There was another flag thrown a second ago. It might back him up even more. And you're right. It doesn't matter which side it's been tonight. This officiating crew has been very quick-triggered. Wow. And that is an automatic first down. Doesn't matter about the yardage. And unsportsmanlike conduct from the Parish side gives the Tigers new life. Though they are offsetting penalties, the personal foul negates it altogether.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one, especially when when they've given you a warning to let you know that they're going to take control of this game. So they're not going to allow these guys to be chirping at one another. The Panthers have just got to button up and play football. Because you had them. You literally had them. They jump off sides. That's where you wanted them to be.
So a disappointing turnaround here for these late penalties here in the second quarter. 5:34 left up on the clock. It is 14-0 Parish. However, the Tigers knocking on the door. Phillips out there. Poteet filling in for at least the seemingly injured DK Rose, who is being attended to on the near sideline. Play clock has not started yet as the officials have not readied up. An extensive conversation on the far sideline with Coach Daniel Novikov. He is pretty irate with the call, and for good reason.
Yeah, he should be, because he sees it happening on both sides, and just how it always happens, man. It's not the guy who's first that gets called. It's always the last guy, and unfortunately it was one of our Panthers.
And that's a lesson to be learned. Heavy package in there for the Tigers. Zach Studley is the tight end to the left. You've got, of course, like I said, Poteet and Hart in the backfield. Fuller's at the top of the screen. We're ready to get back underway again for a split second before we have another pause from our officials. Great crowd on hand, by the way, packing up the majority of Tiger Stadium here in East Texas. And now we're ready to play. Driscoll with a look to the sideline, steps up to the line of scrimmage. First and goal from just inside the 5. Handoff to Poteet. Breaks one tackle, and he is upended at about the 2-yard line and pushed backwards. Forward progress gets him to the 2, but a nice gain on first down.
And this is where they missed that 1-2 punch that comes from DK Rose, because he's more of the battering ram to this tandem than Hart is.
He is a much bigger back. Plays a little quarterback in there as well. 5'9", 170 pounds, and he runs just as quick as Deuce Hart does. Now they got a bigger back. And Damian Jackson. Handoff to Deuce Hart. Catches the pylon, but this might be coming back. There's a flag. There's a couple of flags. And we'll see what the call is, but Malakoff already backing things up again.
Yeah, that's a holding penalty, and you could have called that from up here.
I know you would have if you would have had an opportunity.
One thing the Panthers have got to do, and I know that there was a holding penalty on this side, but they're losing contain on the outside, again, due to that holding. They got to do a better job of getting up the field, and you see that being the advantage that the Tigers are using, because the pass rushes are getting there. The guys are not getting in those lanes to get those stops like that. And a guy like Hart, with the kind of speed that he has, he'll outrace any of these guys to the pylon.
Both Hart and Rose have had more success outside the hash marks getting to the numbers than they have inside the hash mark.
Yep.
Because you're right. If you're losing the battle at the line of scrimmage, which right now the Tigers are, you have to get to the edge. See that all the time in the modern game. And you also can't shoot yourself in the foot, and they've done that throughout this first half already. Multiple penalties putting their drives on edge. Second down and goal from the 13. Poteet still in the ball game. He's the offset tight end to the right. Hart, the lone tailback, straight back behind. Driscoll in the shotgun. Hart on the carry. Explodes inside the 10. And a nice hefty carry. Wasn't really touched after a gain of 5 and then landed forward for a couple more.
Yeah, he went straight through the line of scrimmage, got all the way to the linebackers. Fortunately for the Panthers, he he ran into Addison and was able to get that stop. But like you said, man, pretty much untouched through the line of scrimmage was Deuce Hart.
3rd down and goal. Panthers trying to keep a goose egg up on the scoreboard as we near the end of the second quarter. Quite possibly the final time we will see this offense on the field in the second. And timeout called with 3:39 left on the clock. 14-0 our score. It'll be 3rd down and goal from just inside the 7. What is your message to this defense so far, Heckma, if you're talking defensively to the Panthers?
Well, basically, Jalen Hall and Charlie Robbins and Trey Williams, these guys have been doing a really great job up front. Just continue the job that they've been doing. But for the linebackers, Keegan Addison and Cooper Malin, just continue to come downhill. These guys can make the plays to get the stops because right now the Tigers' offensive line is kind of pinning their ears back and coming after these guys, and they've got to match that intensity.
And once again, got to set the edge. You'd have to expect that you're going for the pylon again if you're the Tigers' run game. Looks like Driscoll will be the lone tailback, so no guessing game at least this time around for the Parish defense. Big 3rd down on the way. 3-man front. Hart.
There it is.
Swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage and nothing going for the Tigers. Cooper Malin, the first one in there.
Yeah, Malin, Hall, guys like that, they are shooting those gaps. And if they don't have those 2-gap responsibilities and they're able to just read and react, man, those guys are better than anybody in taps at doing that. And Hall getting that stop, man, that's big time. Here's a big 4th down for the Panthers.
And they're going to elect to kick a field goal here and try and get on the board. It's Juan Gonzalez to boot this one through. The lefty on what is a 26-yard field goal attempt, almost straight ahead. Shaded a little bit to the right. Kick is up, has plenty of distance, and that one is right down the middle. The Tigers on the board, though they do fall short thanks to a holding penalty that brought back a touchdown. They trail this one by 11, 14-3 our score with 2:53 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, just great job by the Panthers defense. Like I said, buttoning up and just playing some football. Those penalties that they got down there in the red zone, fortunately for them, it didn't cost them a touchdown. But some of those other things that they're doing, those other penalties, man, they've got to cut those out, man. Those, unsportsmanlike penalties, man, that's just uncharacteristic of this team.
Got to have a clean game as much as you can. I mean, that is one way to learn in a game like this, where you feel like you are the team with the majority of the talent, but you want to be able to work on yourself, and that is not an efficient way of doing so.
No, not at all. I mean, and again, those just things that are going to happen. It's not like the Tigers aren't doing it as well, but for this team that have been in several for the state champions, they know better.
14-3 here in the second. Parish 2 for 2 on scoring drives when they have had the football at any point throughout the ball game. A couple Panthers back to receive. Billings along with Demery. 2 of the more dangerous and more catalytic return men that you could have back there. That one goes all the way to the up man, far sideline, and that can be dangerous if you don't know how to return it efficiently.
Right. And
works as like a de facto onside kick if you don't handle it right.
It absolutely does. And fortunately for them, they were able to get their hands on it. But you could just tell, man, they do not want to kick this ball to Noah Billings and Daniel Demery, and that's a good strategy. You
saw the leg a moment ago on Juan Gonzalez, the kicker for Malakoff.
Yeah, that's not him.
He could get it down there.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt in my mind. And we'll see exactly what Sawyer Anderson and this team can do with 2:48 left on the clock.
And Kyle, I think that's what the young people call not wanting any smoke.
Oh, no. They do not want it.
They do not want it.
Is that what the kids say these days? How about the play action? Throw far side. That's Demery on the reception. Right at the line to gain, and it should be a first down. Elk say gain of 9 after the chain man dropped it on the far sideline. I would get out of the way of Demery as well.
That's a good route by Daniel Demery.
Clock stops at 2:41. Nice opportunity for a 2-minute drill for this Panthers offense. Learning moments. Pressure up the middle. Anderson escapes, has the first down, breaks outside, and gets to the sideline. How about the wherewithal to not only escape the pocket, but navigate his way to getting out of bounds?
Very savvy, young Sawyer. I like that. Just taking what the defense gives you and gets out of bounds.
I loved the quick trigger that time from Anderson. I mean, a freshman quarterback, sometimes you see a bit of a hesitation.
Yeah.
There was no hesitation. I mean, that was as quick as he could see the pressure up the middle. He got out of there, and he did so quickly. First down. Here's a run from Andrew Paul. And once again, chunk yardage from Paul. Hasn't broken the big one yet this season, but my goodness, he is not going to go down for anything short of 5 or 6 yards every time he touches it.
And Paul is a big back. When you're down on the field, man, this kid is hulking. And so just to see him dragging people with him, it really just looks like what a guy his size would do. And a great block by Paul.
Yeah, he did set up a huge block. He might be called for a holding penalty here, though. Mentioned the quick trigger from Sawyer Anderson earlier. There may be a quicker one from this officials group.
Goodness.
Personal foul face mask against the Panthers.
And I believe the official term to that is illegal hands to the face.
That's what it is.
When it's an offensive player.
Right. And that's unfortunate. It's going to back him up here.
That's a 15-yard penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's costly.
Takes away the run that Anderson had that stopped the clock. More time ticks off because of the run from Paul, and now you're all the way back to your own 43-yard line.
Is it dangerous to think that this is not going to benefit the Tigers because it's giving Anderson more room?
Oh, and there's a screen, but he almost had it intercepted. Just saw that one slip out of the hands, and they had some blockers and some room on that side of the field.
When Sawyer Anderson looks at the tape of this game, he's going to wish he had that throw back, because if he's just able to take a little bit off of that and get it to Andrew Paul has nothing but acreage in front of him.
That might have been the big play we've been waiting to see from Paul this year. Billings checks in from the far sideline as Paul will take a breather. A well-earned one at that. 1:53 left on the clock, and it's third down and very long. Near side, Billings has a blocker in Youngblood, but he gets to about the 48-yard line before he is escorted out of bounds. Clock stops at 1:47, and it is fourth down. 4th and 16. They would need to get all the way to the 37. This might be one of the quick kick scenarios you see. Or Coach Novakoff feels really confident in his defense. 4 wideouts. It looks like they're going for it on fourth down. They try and get him to jump off sides, and there is the timeout. That's exactly what was going on.
Well, should have tried it a couple of times, but once they did not jump the first time, they went ahead and went with the punting unit. But I love what you said. Coach Novakoff is really confident in his defensive unit. If he's going to go for it on 4th and 16, I'll say, yeah.
If he's going to throw his offense back out on the field in their own territory on 4th and 16.
That's some confidence.
Yeah, you say, hey, this defense is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. But, of course, that is not the full case, and they will indeed give it back to the Tigers with just under 2 minutes to play in the half.
And they did have a blocked punt last week, so hopefully they've shored up some of those errors that they were having on special teams.
Chauncey Hogg is the one that's back to receive. Spiraling kick. Takes a Panthers bounce. This will go all the way inside the 10, inside the 5.
Nice.
Oh, man, it keeps going down to the 2-yard line. What a punt from the Panthers.
I don't get any better than that. It's a good job.
That thing rolled forever.
Yes, it did.
It first touched the carpet right around the 18-yard line, and it goes 16 more yards downfield. And if you're the Tigers, you're thinking, goodness gracious, can I get a break?
Yeah, it's not a windy night
at all. Not at all. Looking for the flags flying, and guess what? You don't have any because they're sitting right next to us, and there's no wind.
No, there's no wind.
Beautiful facility here, by the way, in Malakoff. All turf, artificial.
And they're getting upgrades.
It's going to be upgraded pretty heavily over the next couple of years. Just passed a $72 million bond.
And you saw the smile on Coach Driscoll's face when he told us that. It's going to be big for this community.
This is going to be a big play for this Tigers squad. Backed up against their own end zone. Driscoll, handoff. It is Hart on the carry. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage. They'll have to do it again. Gains a yard on that one.
Yeah, Addison came up hobbling on that play. He's looking over to the sideline. Doesn't look like he's coming out.
Looked like the play clock started exponentially late.
Yeah.
Maybe about like 6 seconds too late.
Yeah.
So we're about a minute left here in the first quarter and counting. And there's still 10 seconds left on the play clock. I mean, there's about an extra 10 seconds that ran off that time. Handoff this time to Hart. Breaks to the edge, throws a stiff arm, but he is dragged to the ground. Nice form tackle from Walker Anderson. The clock continues to run. That could be the final play of the half as the game clock is about 2 seconds ahead of the play clock. Malakoff doesn't have to snap the football again if they don't have to or don't want to. As we may be getting into the halftime break. And that is exactly right. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. They do not snap the ball, and we are at halftime between the Panthers and the Malakoff Tigers. Let's go ahead and go down and hear, we will go down here in a minute and hear from Madison. As the Panthers lead it 14-3. We're going to hear from Coach Novikov in a second as well with Madison down on that far sideline. Got a long way to walk here in East Texas. This isn't easy. Got to wrangle a head coach like this. What are your thoughts of the first half so far, Heckma?
Man, I love it. I love what the Panthers have done. Did a really good job there at the end of the half.
We're going to go back down and talk about that in a moment. Here is Madison Lambert with Coach Novikov.
Thanks, Kyle. Coach, you scored 14 points in the first half. What do you think of your offense performance so far?
I think they've been consistent. We just, bogged down on that last drive there. The first 2 drives are pretty good. We got to execute a little better and knock out the penalties. The penalties are what's killing us so far.
Your defense made some really big stops, but what do you hope to see more of from them in the second half?
Getting off the field faster. We can't allow them to have 9-minute drives.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Fantastic job, Madison, and much happier Coach Novikov than it was last week for the coach's interview at halftime as his Panthers do lead 14-3. Sorry to cut you off a minute ago.
Okay.
But what were the thoughts in that first half?
Well, I'm sure Coach Novikov just is happy that he's not looking at JB's ugly mug. So, you know what, man, I just think that this team, they came out with the purpose and they played with it. They did a really good job of making sure that they didn't give up any of those. They didn't have those self-inflicted penalties that they had last week. They played a pretty clean game aside from the unsportsmanlike penalties. Again, I just feel like the Panthers' offense really needs to get, because they could have legit 28. This should be a 28-3 game right now.
Yeah, it really should. And the offense for the Panthers is taking advantage every time they've had the football for the most part. Just one punt in that first half, and they will start with the ball to begin the third quarter. It's 14-3 our score here from East Texas. We'll step aside and give away to both of the bands. When we return, we'll give you some halftime stats and get you ready for the second half with its 14-3 Parish Panther football on the Game On Sports Network.
Your 2021-2022 varsity head captains are Lexi Hamburger and Hope Brown, with co-captain Annie London. The social captains are Annabelle Everett, Ellie Heald, and Izzy Baggett. The Parish cheer team is led by coaches Becca Johnson and Jamie Balda. The cheerleader of the week is Ellie Shanks. Thank you for your hard work and happy birthday. And now, another round of applause for your varsity cheerleaders. Please put your hands together for the Parish Drumline. Tonight, the Drumline is proud to present their first production of 2021, Domino Park. Built upon a rock-solid groove, this piece weaves rhythms and melodies between all four sections before building to a cacophonous conclusion. The Parish Drumline is led by Captain Andrew Sagabek. Our leadership team includes Landon Scott, Grace Ramsey, Owen Kisner, Drew Daggett, Ren Safety, and Jake McDonald. of Chris Burns and J.C. Ryan. And now assembling at the 50-yard line, your Parish Rosettes. The Rosette of the Week is Miss Maddie Collins. Now, feel free to sing along to the classic tune of Rock Around the Clock as you enjoy this new streamer jazz routine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, for your halftime enjoyment, entering the field is the award-winning Pride of Malakoff, the Malakoff Tiger Band. The Tiger Band is under the field direction of Pro Major Brisa Mitchell. The Tiger Band section of the week is the low brass, way to go trombone, baritone, and tuba. Tonight, the band will be performing part one of its 2021 marching production, Masquerade, bringing you the music of Tchaikovsky and Carol Britt Chambers. And now, the Pride of Malakoff Tiger Band! Let's have one more hand for the Tiger Band. Thank you for your kind attention, ladies and gentlemen. The Pride of Malakoff is under the direction of Scott Patricia and Tristan Zamora. Tiger Stadium, are you ready? Are you ready to celebrate the 2021 3A Baseball State Champion? Introducing the seniors of the 2021 3A Baseball State Champion Malakoff Tigers. Number 1, Wes Houston. Number 4, Ricky Harris. Number 5, Bryson Aiden. Number 7, 12, Regan Smith. Number 13, Brandon Nations. Number 15, Tyler Jones. Number 17, Nate Jones. Number 22, Hayden Thomas. Number 27, Cole Gaddis. And number 30, Alan Bedhart. Now introducing the underclassmen of the 2021 State Championship Tigers. Number 2, Corey Phillips. Accepting his ring is dad Chris Phillips and his brother Chris. Number 2, Shannon Poteet. Accepting his ring are his parents Sherrod and Jamie Poteet. Number 3, Blake Miller. Accepting his ring, parents John and Amy Miller. Number 6, Austin Maxingill. Accepting his ring are his parents Keith and Jennifer Maxingill. Number 9, Asa Mondragon. Number 10, Judd Driscoll. Accepting his ring, Mom Emily Driscoll. Number 16, Caden Holyfield. And number 21, Logan Jameson. The managers for the Tigers, Hunter Guthrie, Judson McNaughton, Aaron Blazer, Kyle Morgan. Accepting his ring is father Heath Morgan. The trainer for the Tigers, Allie Holt. And for the 2020 seniors, we want to acknowledge as well, these 3 young men were robbed of the 2020 season and told by the 2021 seniors that they would win it and get them the ring that they deserve. So can we celebrate these 3 2020 seniors, Jake Little, Hayden Oxford, and Dylan Stearman. The team scout for the Tigers is John Miller. Photographer Stacy Benikuski. Athletic trainer Brian Anderson. Assistant coaches Tyler Wilbanks, who is presently coaching in Russ, and his ring will be delivered to him tonight immediately following this ceremony by the 2021 seniors. Assistant coach Alec Humphreys. Assistant coach Shelly Aiden. In Tiger Stadium, it is time to celebrate the legendary head coach of the 2021 3A State Baseball Champion, Malakoff Tigers, head coach John L. Aiden. Tiger Stadium, let us make some big shouts for once again, our 3A State Championship Baseball team, your Malakoff Tigers! Taking a look at scores in the third quarter, Rio Vista 48, Crossroads 0. At halftime, it's Mineola 3, West Strosa 0. At halftime, it's Madisonville 35, Teague 0. At halftime, it's Corsicana 9, White House 7. At halftime, it's Sunnyvale 35, Brownsboro 7. In the second quarter, it's Cattle Mills 35, Canton 35. At halftime, it's Westwood 21, Useless 8. At halftime, it's Surrey Rosser 38, Kemp 8. At halftime, it's Maybank 46, Lewis Point 0. At halftime, it's Taylor 27, Pittsburgh 7. At halftime, it's Gilmer 34, Atlanta 0. At halftime, it's Greatwater 15, Center 14. At halftime, it's Rush 14, Palestine 3. At halftime, it's Academy 20, Groesbeck 13. At halftime, it's Navasota 28, Mahia 14. At halftime, it's Athens 29, Fairfield 0. At halftime, it's Franklin 21, Cameron Yo 7. At halftime, it's Grandview 23, Godly 0.
(14-3) our halftime score as the Parish Panthers on the road looking to improve to 2-1 on the 2020 campaign against the 3A Division I Malakoff Tigers. Back on Game On Sports alongside Heckma Harrison. I'm Kyle Yeomans with Madison Lambert down on the sideline. Our spotter Lorena Scumo up here as well. And, you know, there's plenty to look for in that first half and what the Panthers were able to do offensively, but I want to say really the most impressive thing has been the defense, and despite what Coach Novikov said in that first half interview, getting off the field quickly certainly was a thing.
Yeah, Jalen Hall's done a really good job of causing penetration. You saw that once they got down in the red zone and had an opportunity to score, being the Tigers, and Jalen Hall definitely stymied that whole thing. And also Keegan Addison doing a really good job with Cooper Malin as well, in that the linebackers just getting those stops for the Panthers, doing a really good job in the first half. But you know, Coach Novikov isn't going to be pleased about not getting off the field in time.
Not at all. And a quick onside kick straight up the gut, and it goes straight into the chest of a Parish Panther at the 47-yard line in a clutch piece of fielding from Adam Roth to get that one on the run, and the Tigers tried for the flash play early. Let's go down to the sideline with Madison Lambert.
Thanks, Kyle. Over halftime, I got to catch up with head coach Novikov, and he talked about the two main things he wants his team to focus on for the second half. First, his offense to move the ball faster down the field, and for his defense to just get off the field faster. He said if they can focus on those two things, it should be for a good second half. Kyle?
Thank you very much, Madison. And there's one way you could get the offense going a little bit quicker is find Cedric Mays over the middle in between the hash marks for a huge gain on the first play of the drive.
Yes, good job by Mays sneaking out from the slot position. It was a great play action fake by Sawyer Anderson, drawing the defense in and catching Mays over the middle.
1st and 10 now from inside the 30-yard line. The Panthers offense is trying to say 2 for 3 in the first half, starting with the ball here in the third quarter. And it's a handoff to Paul. Skips to his left. Stutter steps his way inside the 20 before he's taken down. Another big-time gain and chunk yardage on first down. He picks up 7.
That's exactly what Andrew Paul does. And like I said, it's a death of 1,000 cuts. Before you know it, he's got 20 carries and 120 yards.
He's done it in the first 2 meetings of the season. Over 120 yards in each of those. He's been fantastic so far tonight as well. Youngblood and Hill to the bottom of the formation. Burton at the top along with Billings. Here's Burton. Barrels his way inside the 15 down to the 14. It's a first down, and looks like the offense clicking a little bit here in the third.
Yeah, Chase Burton waiting on Noah Billings to get that block so that he can get the first down. He said, look, man, I'm not going to wait any longer on this block to come on. I see the yard marker right there, and I'm going to get this first down for my team. That's a good job by Chase Burton.
Keeping the patience behind a blocker is something this Parish team does exceptionally well. Paul to the left, Mays to the right of Anderson in the backfield. High snap, here's Mays on the counter. Oh, look at the stutter step. Breaks back to the near side, lays off a hit, and gets to the 5-yard line. Oh, the speed and the physicality from Cedric Mays. We're popping some pads in East Texas.
Yeah, Cedric Mays pretty much just bounced off of that hit by Carter Fuller. Fuller doesn't wrap up, but that was definitely a pop right there at the 6-yard line.
Physicality in this game so far. They can move the chains and set up a fresh set of downs with another 2 here, getting inside the 4-yard line, but at the moment, they're from the 6-yard line looking in. Mays in the slot. You've got Youngblood to the left. Anderson by himself in the backfield. Faces some pressure. Goes far sideline. Slipping to the ground was Burton, and he couldn't come up with it. It one hops its way in, and it's 3rd and 2.
Oh, that was a good route. He runs a corner route, but unfortunately Sawyer Anderson just doesn't put it on him as soon as he comes out of his break.
9:31 left in the third quarter. 3rd down and 2. 14-3 our score. Tiger Stadium in Malakoff. Fantastic night for football in East Texas. Not really a whole lot of humidity nor a whole lot of bug action up here either.
There's a lot of bug action.
Demery on the Wildcat has the first down as he barrels his way forward inside the 5. There is definitely not any cicadas flying around the booth. There are not any hornets. There are not any ladybugs, nor green leafy bugs. And there's also not a spider that is climbing and building Charlotte's Web up in front of us. That is not the case.
I am trying to be the consummate professional right now. I am in the animal kingdom out in East Texas.
Not at all. Here's Demery again out of the Wildcat. Takes the snap. Lays a hit. Dives for the end zone, but he is just shy of pay dirt.
Oh, it looked like he got the ball across the goal line, but
I'll say the knee was down just prior. And it looks like we're going to see Demery again. This is the 3rd straight snap he has been in the ball game. I wonder if there's anything going on with Sawyer Anderson. Did not see him leave the game, but it is Demery again. 2nd and goal. That time it's easy. Walks the dog into the end zone for a Panthers touchdown. 20-3 our score on the road as the Panthers strike first here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was a gamble by Coach Driscoll on the kickoff that didn't pay off. You know, they went onside, and obviously they're trying to gamble to steal some momentum to start the second half. But all they did was just give up good field position for the Panthers that only had to go 49 yards here to get a score.
And the PAT is good from Spiller. And now you look at Sawyer Anderson on the sideline. He has his helmet off, but he doesn't look to be in any sort of pain. You think maybe that was just a goal-to-go scenario where you wanted to test out the Wildcat formation. But with 8:47 left here in the third quarter, the Panthers lead it 21-3.
That's exactly what it was. And when we interviewed Coach Novakoff, that was one of the things that he talked about, the different packages that he has, and specifically with Daniel Demery going in at the quarterback position. You call it a Wildcat or just using your athletes.
He definitely brings an added element in terms of the speed to the cornerback position. Taking a look around some of the other scores in the DFW area here on this Friday night in Week 3 of Texas high school football action. South Lake Carroll taking on Prosper in a battle of heavyweights. The Dragons currently leading that one 24-0. Frisco over Lake Dallas 49-20. Prestonwood Christian, fellow TAPS prospects, trailing right now 35-14 against Garland. That's kind of a surprising score. Prestonwood supposedly really good this season and one of the main challengers for this Parish squad. Euless Trinity 27, Colleyville Heritage 6. That game in the third quarter as well. Line drive kick, far side. And he goes right up the right hash mark. Gets past the 20-yard line down to the 22. Going to bring you some more scores at the moment. Flower Mound Marcus 28, Keller Central 7. That one being played in Flower Mound. Hebron with a 34-8 lead in the third quarter against Northwest Eaton. This is a fun one. Highland Park 21, Coppell 6 in Coppell, home of the Cowboys. Looking at some of these other games and maybe some closer scores. How about Allen and Cedar Hill? That's a heavyweight battle. 21-16 is that score. South Grand Prairie leads Waco Midway 27-16 as the Midway Panthers cannot get off the ground.
The Allen game, who was winning?
Oh, it was Allen. Excuse me. Sorry. Allen Eagles 27, Cedar Hill 16. Allen Eagles now led by head coach Chad Morris.
And they lost their first game at home after, forever.
Almost a decade.
Yes.
At Eagle Stadium. Since before the Kyler Murray days out in Allen. Second down and 3 from the 31-yard line. See what this Malakoff offense has as an answer. They were able to drive down the field the last time they had the football, but were held to just a field goal from inside the 5-yard line. Here's Hart on the carry. Dangerous when he gets to the edge. He's not going to get to the edge this time. It was Trey Williams in on the stop. A big-time tackle as he twists him to the ground. I believe Cave was in there as well.
Yeah, Cave and also Walker Anderson makes a saving tackle right there to not allow the first down. Just good job here just in the second half in general for the Panthers defense.
Gain of only 1. Just as it looked like Hart was going to get the edge. Panthers showing an improvement already in terms of setting the edge and avoiding any tailbacks outside. They give it to Hart again, this time straight up the gut. He dives, and it depends on the spot. It looks like he does have enough for the first as they do move the chains.
Yeah, just by the nose of the ball. Surprised that they don't measure this one, but they're just going to say it's a first down. That's close.
It is. It's just
by
past.
Nose.
Maybe. The spot definitely gives it to him on the near side. But if we were looking at the line judge on the far side, maybe not so much. 1st and 10. Tigers spreading it out a little bit. They have the offset tied in to the left and 2 receivers out left. Handoff on the counter. Goodness, he is such a catalyst when he gets those legs moving. Maybe not as tough to bring down as a tailback like Andrew Paul on the other sideline, but he might be quicker.
No, Deuce hard. I mean, and he runs really well behind his pads and falls forward. And that's all you can ask for your running back. But what's surprising me about this drive for the Tigers is that they've completely abandoned the passing game and have gone 100% run. And so it would seem like to me that the Panthers would sell out on the run as well.
You would think, at least after the first half, you would have a little success throwing
and as
the
soon
ball.
as I say that, what do they do?
Taking a deep ball down the field. It's complete inside the 20-yard line, and he will stutter step his way into the end zone. It's Carter Fuller, the senior. Senior to senior, Driscoll to Fuller, and Malakoff has life on Friday night.
Oh, I love how I open my mouth and say they've abandoned the passing game. What do they do? They pass the ball. It's just I should have said that would be a good term to pass the ball for the Tigers and make myself look smart. But
yeah,
again,
right. You're exactly right. And we'll see what Juan Gonzalez has from a PAT standpoint. Gotta love the crystal ball that Heckma Harrison has. How about this? It's a fake pass. Driscoll evades a couple of tacklers, tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, heaves it to Gonzalez, and he is flattened at the line of scrimmage. It was a wild try for two. That was designed, it looked like. And Driscoll running for his life among a mass of humanity behind the line, just couldn't get back to it.
Yeah, Coach Driscoll is pulling out all the stops right now to get back in this game. I don't blame him. You got to do something to get your guys' attention if you want to be competitive in this game, because it looks like number 10, your middle linebacker, DK Rose, is out of the game. So,
yeah, he suffered an injury toward the beginning of the second quarter. He was probably the most impactful player defensively for Malakoff, and the Panthers took advantage of it, at least to start this third quarter.
I'd say, I mean, in the middle of that defense, he was definitely rocking some guys, and also at the running back position. But he looks like he has an ice bag over that knee. It's unfortunate for the senior. He'll be out of this game.
Man, he was so good, and it really was from the first play on. The way that he exploded through the line of scrimmage and laid a hit on Andrew Paul kind of set the tone, at least early on, for this Malakoff defense.
The first play of scrimmage.
It was. Very beginning of the game. 21-9 is the score. 6:09 remaining in the third.
You know, when we talked with Coach Driscoll, that was one of the things that he said, man, I want to see how many of my guys will respond to this challenge. And looks like they've come out in the second half and responded.
Fair catch far side, and that one will carry him to about the 30. And that's where the Panthers will take over. But you're right. I mean, the competitiveness is there from the Tigers, and they are not completely outmatched in this game. It's just been a cleaner first quarter or first two quarters and then some for this Parish team compared to what the Tigers have put out there.
Well, I'll tell you what they did was they kind of lulled the defense to sleep, because if I'm noticing that all they're doing is running the ball, then here they go over the top on the skinny post, and they catch these guys asleep with no safety help over the middle. So, again, it's just the alertness for the Panthers defense and just recognizing that the threat is still there for a big-time pass play.
Three receivers to the right, one back alongside Sawyer Anderson, and that is Andrew Paul. Anderson on the screen. Paul reels in the high pass, and he won't go anywhere. That linebacker core is still very stout, and a big tackle that time for the Tigers defensively, as it was.
I think this Kavion Davis.
I think also, it was Hogg that had the tackle.
Hogg and Davis did a really good job of getting under that screen and getting a tackle.
Hogg, ultra athletic on the defense, and has served as a return man and as a defender in that second level. Whistles will blow on second down and 9.
Got to continue to find the mismatch. And that's what Sawyer Anderson did in the first half. that really got those points on the board, and that's locating the mismatch and capitalizing on it.
Both teams connecting over the middle of the field here in this third quarter, one of which to Cedric Mays for the Panthers, the other of which was the touchdown throw to Fuller for the Tigers. The false start backing up the Panthers to 2nd down and 14. 5:25 and counting here in the third. 2 receivers to both sides. Seen a lot of Andrew Paul in this game. Sawyer Anderson trying to put his mark on it. A little curl route far side, complete to Billings. Gain of 10.
Hey, Sawyer Anderson does a really good job. Out routes, curl routes, anything to the sideline. It's not going to get picked off because he's going to put it in only the place that his receivers can get it. That's his signature throw, if you ask me.
Yeah, he is really coming to form at doing something like, or things like that, the little things early in his career. That's what could make him special at the quarterback position. 3rd down and 5, need to get to at least the 40. Play action. Anderson, a man, it's Billings again, early contact, no flag. You thought it might have been something worth calling there.
Yeah, it's a bang-bang play, and they gave the defense the benefit on that, but clearly Coach Novakoff believed that was a pass interference.
Wasn't a ton of contact.
No,
it wasn't egregious. It was a little early, though. You're right. The timing was the factor there, but the Panthers forced to boot this away, and Malakoff, with a well-timed drive here, could bring it back within a single possession. End over end kick. Fair catch signaled by Hogg, and it's muffed on the ground, and the Panthers pick it up. Inside the 20, he's going to take it into the end zone. A muffed punt, returned for a scoop and score by Billings. There are whistles, and they're going to say it was touched by the Panthers first, which would down the ball at the 34, wiping the touchdown off the board.
How's it down, though? If he muffs the punt, that's Panthers ball. Okay, and they were looking as though they were going to give the ball to the Tigers. And no.
I think that's what's happening, Heckman. There is going to be a conversation here. It depends on who touched the ball first. If it was touched by a Panther first, then it's Tiger ball.
No. He muffed it.
I see what you're saying. You're saying he was down.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I thought that was the case. I thought they were going to make a different call. They said Tiger ball going the other direction from the 34-yard line. The Panthers team is on the field. The Panthers offense is on the field, even though the official pointed the other direction. Lots of confusion with 4:52 left in the third quarter.
That would be an understatement on the confusion part, but that was clearly a muff punt. He called for a fair catch. There was no interference by the Panthers.
I think a Tiger touched the ball first. I think it was Hogg who mishandled the punt. So unless he was interfered with, which didn't look like it, it should be Parish ball either way, either as a touchdown or at the 34-yard line. But the opening call for this was that it was Malakoff football going the other way, 1st and 10 from the 34. And that's what's confusing at this moment. And just when this ball game was moving really fast, and they are going to point the other direction now, as it is Panther football.
Yeah, this is an easy call for me. I mean, this is muff punt 101. It's going the other way.
Just because it's easy for us in the booth, Heckma, doesn't mean it's easy for everyone.
My crystal ball says Panther ball.
1st down and 10 Panthers as they do force their first takeaway of the night. One thing Malakoff's done very well is take care of the football. But a special teams mistake could open this thing up even further for the Panthers offense. Mays and Paul in the backfield. Hill at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, Hill has a man-to-man matchup, and the Navy commit has to dominate when he has a man-to-man matchup like this.
Paul through the left, that's dominant as well. Off to the races, inside the 10, and it's a foot race. He wins into the end zone. 34 yards for Andrew Paul, and it's opened wide up in East Texas.
Yeah, Andrew Paul, he does it just like that. Makes it look real simple.
(27-9) our score. And the PAT on the way. Good snap, good hold. It's up and through. 28-9 our score here from Malakoff, Texas, about 75 miles southeast of Dallas. As the Panthers have come on the road and are, at least at the moment, are just over a quarter away from win number 2 of the 2021 campaign. Let's go down to the sideline for Madison.
Thanks, Kyle. Defensive coach Will Galusha spoke to his defense after that play and said, wake up. And he was specifically talking to his corners to get off the post and make blocks and make tackles. And then he told his team to do their job on every play. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you very much. Another message from the defensive coordinator here talking about how, at least in terms of the defense, that last drive was not handled well from a passing game standpoint. Malakoff with the big touchdown over the middle to Fuller, saying that, hey, those corners got to stay on their assignments. What's the biggest deal for this defense here to try and rebound from that?
I mean, look, the Tigers lulled them to sleep, and that's pretty much all that was. I mean, they ran the ball successfully 7-8 times going from the first half to the second half, and so understandable. They were just running those same plays over and over and over again, trap plays that were getting them out in space, and finally busted one of them. And they caught him across the middle on that passing play.
The words used on the sideline that Madison echoed
from,
said, wake up.
Wake up,
for
okay.
that defense. And so we'll see exactly what the Panthers have on that side of the football here in a moment. Wanted to run through a couple more scores here from the DFW area. Denton Ryan 28, Frisco Reedy 10 in the third quarter. Frisco Lone Star 30 and Heritage 17, a closer game than thought there. Dallas Jesuit and Choctaw, Oklahoma tied up at 22 in the fourth quarter. Good football game there for Jesuit. 6A Rangers taking on an out-of-state opponent. Trinity Christian Addison 42-31. Or I don't even know how to say that school's name. Sisterian?
Sisterian.
Something like that. Here's a screenplay far side. Opened up a hole for this Tigers offense past the 50-yard line. And if the message continues to be echoed on the far sideline like we heard from Madison a moment ago, then defensive coordinator can't be very happy.
No, and Deuce Hart is just one of those players. And you know what? One of the things, I think this is a going trend here in speed position, skill positions with speed that kind of affect this Panthers defense. We saw it last week with the Jaguars offense, and now we're seeing it again here in Malakoff.
Team speed paid dividends last week. Panthers able to overcome it. How about Hart dropping that ball off the carpet? It skips back up to him. Keeps running, and Trey Williams was there for the tackle for loss.
That is a fortunate bounce for Deuce Hart.
Is it ever?
Because it hit the ground and came right back up to him. And, boy, I tell you, footballs don't do that too often.
It was a double handoff to Hart. One to him and one from him. 3:45 and counting in the third.
Well, Hart has definitely been carrying the ball. He's been the workhorse for this offense. He's done everything except for pass the ball to himself at this point.
Give it time.
If I see that, come on now.
Here's Hart. Nowhere to go. Tries to switch fields, and he goes down. Tackle for loss again off the defensive edge for the Parish Panthers, and that time it was Ussery.
Yeah, Ian Ussery doing a really good job in the middle, just staying at home basically.
Sets up third down and 18. Trips receivers to the left. Hart strapping up the chin strap again, and he's in the backfield. See if they go back to Fuller here. Had the matchup earlier. Instead, they go far side. Lots of contact, and it is going to draw a penalty flag. That'll be an automatic first down and 15 extra yards. Not a spot foul in high school.
I'll tell you what, we look at Zach Studley going on that go route on the far side. I mean, there was a bunch of hand-to-hand stuff going on. Unfortunately, the defense never really gets the benefit of the doubt in a situation like that.
Waiting for the official call, but Coach Novikov letting his opinions be heard.
I'm having flashbacks from last night on that play because that was offensive pass interference.
Last night referencing the Dallas Cowboys.
So, yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Don't want to talk about it, right?
I'm over it.
Pass interference is a call against the Panthers. It's an automatic first down for the Tigers.
And that's where there's contact both ways. You don't know if it's actually going to end up being a penalty just because you don't know which way it would go. And at least in this instance, not in favor of the Parish Panthers. So now inside the 40-yard line, go to the Tigers. 2:38 left up on the clock here in the third quarter. Two receivers left, two in the backfield. Driscoll. Hand off to Hart. He has been finding those cutting spaces all night long, and it leads to big gains on early downs.
Yeah, he's finding that edge, and they're just doing a really good job of getting a seal block on Trey Williams over here on the left side, and they keep coming back to the well on this one too.
One play, one first down. Inside the 30-yard line, the Tigers. Hart, goodness, he just has a head of steam every time he touches the football. He's their offense. I mean, it's stop Deuce Hart and feel a lot better about yourself.
Yeah, the Tigers are just doing a really good job of blocking up front and just taking the legs of these Panthers out at the line of scrimmage, and that's how Deuce Hart is able to get up that full head of steam getting through the front line.
Second down and 5. Two receivers right, one left. Fuller is the one by himself, man-to-man coverage on the near side with Blackmore. But it doesn't matter. There's Hart again, straight up the middle, and another first down.
Yeah, Deuce Hart has found his rhythm. He's trying to make a cut and slip down. Good run by Hart, though.
.57 seconds and counting as we close in on the final ticks of this third quarter. Driscoll on the shotgun. And there was a false start. That right tackle just trying to get a little bit of a start.
Looks like Quentin Fulton tried to do his best job to stay still, but a man his size, it gets moving. It's going to be evident from everybody in the stadium, maybe someone from even off the highway here. They're going to see that right tackle move.
That's a highway?
Well, yeah.
Side roads?
Yeah.
Main drag?
It's an FM.
There you go. And a timeout called by, looks like Parish before the 1st and 15. And Coach Novikov does want to talk it over. 28 seconds left, and it's a 28-9 lead for the Panthers. We get ready to head into this fourth quarter. Lots of learning going on both sidelines. Young team in Malakoff still trying to bring that fight. And you're seeing that from guys like Hart and Fuller and Driscoll, who have made a couple of impact plays here in the second half.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. I mean, they're battling. They're responding. They're trying to answer the bell each time that the Panthers score. They want to come back and try and get some points on the board. But it's been in situations like these where they get down in the red zone and they have those self-inflicted penalties, you know, whether it be jumping off sides or whatever it may be for the Tigers. They've just suffered those. But for the Panthers defense, they just got to stay stout up front. Jalen Hall's had himself one heck of a game. Guys like Aiden Gilmore, also, when they call him in situations like this, he's got to keep his head up and make those tackles at the line of scrimmage. Defensively, you know, they're just allowing this guy to get to the second level, and that's what's costing them.
What are you saying in terms of this timeout if you're Malakoff? Really, your entire offensive game plan has been give the ball to Deuce Hart and let him run with it. Is that going to change at all?
Well, I think you got to stay with it. You got to stay with what got you there. And at one point, you got to take a shot with Carter Fuller.
Fuller to the top of the screen at the moment. Now they're going to go near side, back of the end zone. That time looking for Corey Phillips. Phillips, a very talented wide receiver as a senior, plays both ways extensively and had some separation, but not the throw you wanted to see from Driscoll.
Yeah, no, just a little bit overthrown. I think Driscoll wanted to put it in a position where if his guy couldn't get it, no one would. So don't want any costly interceptions down here, and that's a good job by the coach's son, Judge Driscoll.
Second down and 15. Offset tight end there as well. They give it back to Hart. Shakes his first tackle. Somehow stays on his feet and gets about 5 yards there. The elusiveness on display.
His kid's tough. And one of those guys that you cannot just arm tackle. You got to get him, and you got to have tackle him by committee. So you got to have 3 or 4 guys to get this guy down.
And that'll bring it into the third, 28-9, as the Parish Panthers aiming for their second win of the 21 campaign on the road in front of the Tiger faithful. They brought a pretty good contingency of their own Panther crowd on that far sideline.
We travel
away.
We travel well.
Stands. Both of these teams with some big-time matchups on the horizon. Malakoff taking on Sunnyvale in Week 4. Week 5, they'll take on Pittsburgh on the road. In Parish next week, you got a fun one. You mentioned the Dallas Cowboys a minute ago, Heckma Harrison.
Yes.
Well, Liberty Christian will make their way to Gloria H. Snyder Stadium, a.k.a. coached by one Jason Witten. Head coach Jason Witten leading the Knights, and that'll be a fun one as Taps play in Division I begins next week. Jason Witten supported the other day out at Frisco Liberty Christian, and that was Legacy Christian.
Yes.
And Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott were out in support. Wonder if they'll make the short trip down the Dallas North Tollway heading to Parish.
That would be exciting.
12 minutes left in this one. Malakoff continuing to drive, but a big 3rd down and 10. And even before the snap happens, Coach Novakov's going to burn his second timeout of the half. Only one remaining. You never want to see that.
No.
Coming out of a quarter break.
Yeah, that's big-time error right there. But, again, I guess they're forced to take it, and they do.
Didn't even huddle up. More of substitutions a problem that time for Parish. Looked like they only had 10 men on the field. And they finally get back to full strength as Ussery checks back in. Malakoff going with a heavy package here. Everybody in tight, nobody out wide. Farthest person wide is Corey Phillips. He's standing on the near or in the far hash mark. Belt-tie snap. Driscoll under pressure. Hall chasing him down. He lost it to the end zone for Hart. He was out of bounds regardless, so it's incomplete and 4th down.
Yeah, going to bring up this 4th down. And again, the Panthers do a really good job on defense and getting out into their zone and not allowing the pass into the end zone. Hart sneaking out. He's got about 3 Panthers surrounding him. So
offense stays on the field. No surprise here with it being the 4th quarter and down by 19. $11:53 left on the clock. They need all 10 here to get down to the 4. Driscoll into the end zone looking for Fuller, batted around by Demery, and he drops the interception, but it's Panther ball regardless. It would have been a change of about 11 yards should he have picked that one off, but Parish to go back on offense.
Oh, that's one that Demery wishes he had a second chance at to come down with. He's hit him right in his paws.
Demery so close to reeling in another interception this season. Would have been his second, as he had one last week against Austin LBJ.
That'd be his easiest one that he's ever had, and he dropped it.
2 receivers to the right side as there's an early handoff to Paul. Nowhere going. Back in the backfield quickly was that Tiger defense.
Oh, yeah. Right off that right side over here.
Doc Renbridge got in there.
Yeah, been listed as a sophomore. Doc Renbridge.
That's a big guy.
Kid, boy. I don't know what they're feeding him out here in East Texas, but goodness gracious.
Anderson over the middle, has a man, it's caught. Past the 50-yard line, and look at Cedric Mays run. Oh, what a big touchdown for the Panthers. 85 yards for Cedric Mays.
Cedric Mays could have hit his head on the goalpost right there, Kyle. And, I mean, he is untouched. And once he gets in the open field, there isn't going to be anybody in East Texas that's going to catch number 29, Cedric Mays. Facts.
Had 5 receptions for 108 against Bel Air. Last week, pretty held in check against the Jaguars. Not so held in check there.
Nah.
To make it 34-9 with 11:03 left. The biggest play of the night, arguably the biggest play in terms of yardage for the season as the Panthers tack it on again. And it's 35-9 on the road. Convincing fashion offensively in this one.
Well, you got the defensive stance that you needed. And, you know, hey, Coach Novakoff was talking about getting off the field. I think they're really happy about seeing their defense get that stance and then also seeing their offense come out and respond.
Talk about Malakoff and going down the field. I mean, it came up with a field goal on one trip to the red zone, nothing on another trip to the red zone. Their only touchdown has been from 35-plus yards out. They have not had the success even on the longer drives the Tigers have managed to put together.
Yeah, like I said, at a certain point in this game, you're going to start to see the attrition start to happen with Malakoff. It's just a lot of their guys are playing offense and defense, and they just don't have the quality substitutions that the Panthers do.
It's part of being a 3A Division I program and just not having the numbers, like you said, on the sideline. I mean, there's a noticeable difference in Parish in terms of enrollment. Doesn't have a whole lot more guys on their sideline, but you can definitely tell that they have more on their sideline. This one reeled in by Hogg at his own 12-yard line.
It's a dangerous kick.
Excuse me, that was Hart that reeled it in. It's normally been Hogg sitting in that spot, and they flipped it around. You're right. It was a dangerous play. If he would have had maybe a little more space, he might have taken that all the way.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and they had it set up perfectly, did the Tigers down here on the right side, but Hart not able to find any daylight. But the Panthers in special teams, they've been giving up some favorable field position. That's something that they've got to correct, because when you get against teams that can make you pay for that, that's, again, giving up favorable position. They're out here on the 44-yard line.
Some of their best starting field position of the ball game. Driscoll looking to pass, throws this on the run, and Demery threw his hands for the second straight pass attempt.
Come on, D. You got it right there, baby. You got to take that one to the house, right between his hands.
Or at least to the sideline. Reel it in. He had a lot of momentum coming this direction.
Your safety's been playing a really good, man. They've been doing a good job of just staying back in their zones, and obviously other than the big play that was given up in the first half, they've pretty much shut the Tigers down.
Hand off to Hart. Past the 50, tripped up from behind. Nice play by Malin. You mentioned Daniel Demery, 4-star recruit, number 19, linebacker in Texas. Yes, he is listed as a linebacker, though he does play safety. That's in the class of 2023, still just a junior. Offers from Baylor, Arizona, Nebraska, Penn State, Texas, Texas A&M, and the biggest one out of all of those, North Texas.
He is such a homer. I love it.
Completion in the flat here to Hart. You hear me laughing?
No. Don't hear you laughing.
USC, SMU, Ole Miss, but nothing bigger than the mean green.
Texas A&M, you mixed right over that.
I said it.
Okay.
I gave the Aggies credit.
Okay.
Gain of 6 on first down for Hart. He's such a sound player, though. I mean, coverage and athleticism and the way that he gets his hands on a football, it certainly is a pleasure to watch.
He's a playmaker on both sides of the ball, and what he's got to do is get those interceptions just to show, how much more he can do once he gets the ball in his hands from a defensive standpoint, because he can take it to the house from any position.
He plays wide receiver.
Absolutely.
He plays a little bit of wildcat quarterback. Undoubtedly, he could come in and take it to the house. He is officially listed as a safety, but you mentioned it a moment ago. He plays a little bit of everything. 9:20 and counting here in the final quarter. 3rd down and 3. Look to the near sideline where the coaching staff signaling in. Play clock down to 2. Have to snap the football. They just get it off in time, and it's a handoff to Hart. And it looks to be a first down. Took a long time to signal that play call in. I think I could have called that. Everybody in the building knew it was probably going to be a handoff to Hart.
Well, it looked as though they were trying to call a timeout before the play clock ran down, but didn't get it
fired off.
Nope. We're able to snap it.
Underneath 9 to play now. Got to also credit some of these other defensive backs standing next to Demery. I mean, look at Bryson Blackmore and what he has done from a defensive standpoint. We'll play action. How about this over the middle, off the hands, and incomplete. That was a golden opportunity for Cannon Poteet to reel in a first down catch and even maybe have some running space.
I don't know what footsteps Cannon heard, but he heard something that made him look away from that ball at the last second, because most receivers, what they're doing is they're running before they actually catch it. Cannon, you got to use your hands, man.
Poteet listed as the backup quarterback and the backup running back. He also can play a little tight end. He's played majority of like an H-back role tonight. 2nd down, nothing going on the handoff. Tell you one guy I've been really impressed with throughout the first couple weeks of the year at Heckma has been Bryson Blackmore. He's been picked on a couple times. I mean, last week there was some opportunities for the Jaguars, and they went at him on multiple occasions, but he stood up. And tonight, outside of one play, he's really taken away Fuller from being the best receiver on the field.
No, Blackmore's done a solid job and did a really good job down here when they were trying to catch that fade route in the end zone.
Throw on the run. That one is complete. It is Phillips on the reception, and the chains will continue moving. Drive stays alive for the Tigers.
It was a big first down for the Tigers.
Clock starts back up at 6:35. Just outside the red zone again. Motion is Phillips. They give it to him on the shovel pass, and he will go nowhere. Trey Williams in the backfield for a big-time takedown.
Yeah, Trey Williams, he reads that perfectly. They're trying to catch him on the reverse, but for a defensive end linebacker, the one thing that you have to do is maintain, contain, and stay at home, and Trey Williams does a good job of doing that.
I would say that I've been impressed by him through the first 3 weeks of the year, but that would be pretty repetitive.
Well, be repetitive. You've been impressed with him.
And been really impressed with him. Both him and Hall up front. This is a stout defensive unit for Parish that I really believe is just getting underway. Driscoll steps up, fires! Oh, that was almost a fantastic one-handed snag from Phillips, but it did hit the carpet.
Now, we hadn't really talked a lot about Judge Driscoll's arm, but he's been doing a really good job on these throws. His receivers are just not helping him out and coming down with the catches.
Yeah, you're right. I think Driscoll does have a bit of an arm. This is a Malakoff team tested really early in this schedule, but they are going to bounce back in a big way in 3A Division I. Started the year ranked inside the top 10 at the level. Third down and 15. That one falls a bit short. Trying to find Fuller and get it into his hands, but with 6:30 left, 4th and 15 on the docket.
Yeah, that's going to be one that Judge's going to wish that he had back to get up just a little bit higher to get to Carter Fuller, because he's one of those athletic guys. You can tell from just up here he has that athletic build. If he's able to get that in his hands, he's a playmaker. He can get to the end zone.
Of course, they will stay on the field. Empty backfield. You have trips for receivers tight to the right. 2 receivers out left. Man in motion is Hart. They fake it to him. Driscoll steps up, stays behind the line of scrimmage, delivers a strike. That ball was jarred out by Mayland with a huge hit inside the 5 to force the turnover on downs.
Yeah, Mayland, man, he delivers the boom. Brings that ball out, and I thought it was just on the top of the feet of the DB and just not able to get that interception.
Wow. Hardest hit of the night, undoubtedly, as Mayland came streaking over the middle of the field and just laid a lick on Corey Phillips.
At the perfect time.
Very well placed ball from Driscoll at the quarterback spot to even give Phillips an opportunity to catch it. The bad news is it put him in harm's way. And there's Paul on the carry. Gain of about 3 as the clock will run.
Yeah, that's the good thing about that run, is that it's short yardage, allows the clock to continue to run. If I'm Coach Novakoff, I go right back to that play.
It's been a fun night out in East Texas, and Parish going to continue to trim clock here and will return home with their battle with Liberty Christian on the horizon with a 2-1 record. Bugs haven't been as bad since I talked about it, guys.
Maybe it's the deep wood off that I got from Lorena.
Oh, is that what it was?
Maybe that's what it is.
That's what a good spotter does, is she brings the bug spray.
They'll bring up a 3rd and short for the Panthers. Got to continue to rack up these yards, get these first downs to allow the clock to continue to run.
Yeah, 5 10 left, and it is 3rd down and 3. Been a quiet night for Hill. Really, the passing game hasn't been much needed. It's been the two out of the backfield, Paul and Mays, that have made the biggest impact in the passing game. Youngblood had an early touchdown. Hand off again to Mays. Had the 85-yard touchdown pitch and catch early on.
Yeah, Cedric Mays does a great job of picking up that first down. Like I said, man, he's a little guy, man, but running in behind these big old trees that he has for offensive linemen, he can hide out and just sneak in and get that first down. As the Tiger Band plays Neck.
It's a crowd favorite.
Oh, yeah.
You're a product of Lincoln High School yourself. Did the Lincoln Band bring out Neck every now
I
and again?
would say we invented Neck. No,
Ooh,
no.
not going to go that far.
Not going to go that far.
Here's Mays. Oh, broke a tackle. He's still on his feet. Throws a stiff arm and almost stayed inbounds. And if he would have, he had a cut lane up the sideline that would have been very entertaining.
He reminds me a lot of Deuce Harmon, the kid from Kansas State that I saw last week. They're both kind of small in stature guys, but they had powerful, packed bodies, and they're able to get past guys. You saw that stiff arm, man?
Yeah.
He literally is lifting people up, and you think a guy his size can't do it, he'll show you wrong.
Deuce Harmon, the deuce is loose for Kansas State. You also went to Kansas State.
I did. I just
played
wanted
for Coach Bill Snyder.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
State.
He did have a fantastic game against Stanford at AT&T Stadium, and just the name Deuce Harmon and wearing 22 was such a good look for a running back. How about another hefty tailback, and that is Andrew Paul past the first down marker.
Another number 2 out here on the field, loose. There's going to be a deuce that's loose. Whoa, that was
Could
a big
be
jump.
Andrew Paul. Oh. Well, we almost made it, ladies and gentlemen. We're under 4 minutes left, and Heckma was attacked by a cicada.
Goodness gracious. All right, I'm here.
You're here. Professionalism, right? 1st and 10 after the Paul run. Sawyer Anderson on his way to win number 2. It's the starting quarterback for the Parish Panthers. How about this one out wide?
Oh, Youngblood.
Nice completion and a move from Youngblood as he will run into the back of his own offensive lineman, but still picks up 10 yards after a bit of elusiveness.
Man, he's just so subtle in his movements. You know, a lot of guys, they try so hard to juke you out of your spat, and they make 1,000 moves, and that's not Blake Youngblood. It's very subtle with him, man. Everything lateral and just getting back up the field.
No wasted movement. That is why Holy Cross is just over the moon and getting a guy as athletic and skilled as he is. Talk about a guy who can play both sides of the football. He is one. Now, most of his talents at the high school level utilized as a wide receiver. See if that translates to the collegiate level. Here's Paul.
Yeah, that's a good job by Andrew Paul. And when you're a team like the Panthers, you definitely need a guy like Paul. And he's a great equalizer. Anytime you can turn around and hand him the ball and just get defenses off of you, keep them at bay, and then go over the top with your receivers, man, that's so valuable for a young team or young quarterback like the Panthers.
New tailback in there for Parish as Anderson is in the shotgun. Handoff. And there's a first down run. Let's take this opportunity to go down to the sideline with Madison. Madison.
Thanks, Kyle. So I actually got to just catch up with one of the players' moms. He's a junior this year. And I asked her if she noticed any changes from past season to this season. And she said no. Honestly, the brotherhood between these boys, she said, runs deep. They encourage each other. They're excited about this season. She said it will be a rebuilding season with a new quarterback and some players they lost from last season. But everyone's excited and committed to each other all the way from the coaching staff to the bench. Kyle.
Thank you very much, Madison, and great work down on the sideline as always. As we are underneath 2 minutes to play. And the Parish Panthers continue driving on offense. Oh, another big handoff, and this one not as successful on the second carry for the Panthers. Nwanku could not get back to the line of scrimmage that time.
Yeah, Doc Renberg is not having any of it.
He's had a good night, and you mentioned it as a sophomore.
That's a big kid.
As a large individual on the defensive line for the Malakoff Tigers. Bright future for this program, but an 0-3 start has this team itching for their first win. As we do hit the 1 minute mark here in the fourth quarter. And there is the first knee. They'll need one more to call this one a win. Once again, the Panthers will move on and face Liberty Christian, headed up by former Dallas Cowboy Jason Witten in week 4. They do bounce back in a big way following their loss last week to Austin LBJ. Malakoff will start their district play by taking on Sunnyvale next Friday night. Sawyer Anderson back in the shotgun. One more kneel down will do it. And we will call this one from East Texas. Snap is good. There's the kneel, and the clock will run down. 35-9, the final score as the Parish Panthers move to 2-1 on the season. The Tigers fall to 0-3, and at least through the first 2 weeks of the year, the first 3 weeks of the year now, is the most dominant game we've seen the Parish Panthers play in 2021.
Yeah, the Panthers just really, this was a rebound game for them, and they responded. Obviously, the Tigers, with all the great athletes that they have, really thought that they could come into this game and make headway against the Panthers, and they said, nope, we will have none of that. And so from first quarter all the way to the fourth, they've exacted their dominance. Now, there are a few things that obviously Coach Novikov will look at, and that's on special teams and some of those unsportsmanlike penalties that they incurred. I'm sure there will be some extra running assignments for some guys today. But all in all, I think the Panthers, they did a wonderful job out here in Malakoff.
You learned a lot about this Panthers team today, and you're going to need that going into TAPS play as non-district is now coming to a close. Now you get into the divisional action as the quest for another state title is on the line as they look for a three-peat at the TAPS Division I level. That's going to do it for us here from Game On Sports. Special thanks to everybody that was a part of this broadcast. For our spotter, Lorena. For Madison Lambert down on the sideline. For Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans giving you the final score one more time. 35-9, the Parish Panthers win number 2 of 2021. So long from Malakoff.